At napakarami ng kasamahan niya ng mga propeta ang nalipol at namatay. At sa katunayan, ang akala niya siya na lang ang natirang buhay. So there was a very imminent threat. A threat to his life given by no less than the wicked queen Jezebel. Earlier, sa 1 Kings 19:10, sa kanyang pakikipagniis sa Diyos, he answered, Lord God all-powerful, I've always done my best to obey you, but your people have broken their solemn promise to you. They have torn down your altars and killed all your prophets except me. And now they are even trying to kill me. Ito ang elemento ng panalangin ni Elijah, which tells us about his consciousness at this time. Sabi niya, ako na lang po ang nalalabing buhay. Ito mismo ng mga mamamayan ng Israel ang pumapatay sa inyong mga propeta, nag-iisa na lang kong natira. At ngayon, ako naman ang kanilang gustong patayin. So yun ang laman ng kanyang isip. Gulong-gulo siya, natatakot siya para sa kanyang kaligtasan, at iniisip niya, wala na siyang kakampi. 1 Kings 19:3-4. Elijah was afraid when he got her message, meaning the message of Jezebel, warning him that he would be dead tomorrow. And he ran to the town of Beersheba in Judah. He left his servant there, then walked another whole day into the desert. Finally, he came to a large bush and sat down in its shade. He begged the Lord, I've had enough. Just let me die. I'm no better off than my ancestors. Matapos siya maglakbay patungo sa isang malayong bayan called Beersheba, iniwan pa niya ang kanyang assistant. Prophets always had assistant bodyguards with them because they were constantly also under threat. At kailangan din nila ng assistant in their ministrations. Pero iniwan niya. At naglakad pa siya ng isang buong araw mag-isa. Kaya ang nakikita natin dito, bukod sa iniisip niyang siya na lang ang natirang propeta, ngayon talagang physically, literally, nag-iisa siya. At sa wakas ay nakakita siya ng isang malabay na puno at siya ay naupo doon sa lilim noon at sinabi niya sa Diyos, pagod na po ako, tama na, hayaan niyo na akong mamatay. Dumating siya sa ganon. What were his weaknesses? There was fear. And then there was fatigue and aloneness. Deadly combination. Marami tayong alam na nagpapakamatay na magkakasama yung fatigue, be it emotional or spiritual fatigue, at pag dinagdagan mo pa ng physical fatigue, the chemistry of the body is altered, there is more tendency to be depressed. So there was fear, fatigue, and aloneness. He was personally alone and also spiritually alone because there were no more other prophets, although he was wrong. Dahil may mga natira pa, hindi lang niya alam. And what was the very imminent threat? He wanting to die. It is the most abnormal of all feelings because we were created to live. And normally, people would do everything to continue living. So it's most abnormal to want to die. Ganon kagrabe ang sitwasyon niya, ang kanyang physical, emotional, and spiritual fatigue, that his reason is already distorted. Baloktot na ang isip, madilim na ang isip, wala nang kaliwanagan, wala nang katinoan, ibig ng mamatay, which is against the very basic rule of life, which is to live. 1 Kings 19:5-8. Then he lay down in the shade and fell asleep. Suddenly an angel woke him up and said, "Get up and eat." Elijah looked around, and by his head was a jar of water and some baked bread. He sat up, ate, and drank, then lay down and went back to sleep. Soon the Lord's angel woke him again and said, "Get up and eat, or else you'll get too tired to travel." So Elijah sat up and ate and drank. Sa sobrang pagod, nakatulog, napahiga na siya doon sa kanyang inuupuang lugar at nakatulog siya, pero may dumating na anghel at may daladalang mainit na bagong hurnong tinapay at isang palayok ng tubig. At siya ginising, kumain ka, bumangon ka at kumain. Matapos bumangon at kumain, uminom, natulog uli, at ginising uli ng anghel after some interval, at sinabi, get up and eat, or else you'll be too tired to travel. So if there was threat and weakness, now there is strength. And that strength came in the form of sleep and rest, drink, food, and an angel from the Lord, very specifically an angel of rest. Isang anghel ang daladala sa kanya ikapahingahan, kapahingahan mula sa uhaw, may dalang inumin, kapahingahan mula sa gutom, may dalang pagkain, at kapahingahan ng katawan, hinayaan siyang matulog, at binigyan siya ng bagong lakas. What can sleep, some water, and some bread do to a person who's already desperate and wanting to die? 1 Kings 19:8, the food and water made him strong enough to walk 40 more days. At last, he reached Mount Sinai, the mountain of God. Konting tulog, konting pahinga, konting inom at konting kain, bumabalik ang katinoan ng tao. Nakakasira ng katuwiran ang gutom. Kaya hindi dapat nagugutom ang tao. May mga nagugutom, umiinit ang ulo. May mga pag nagugutom, magagalitin. At meron namang inaabot ng sobrang gutom, pati sarili gustong mamatay na. Yung pala, konting pagkain, konting inumin lang ang sagot at konting pahinga. At matapos yun, nakapaglakad pa siya ng 40 araw. At nakarating siya sa bundok ng Diyos, yung Sinai. So what was the strength now? The mountain of the Lord, which means everything. Nakarating ka sa mountain of the Lord, nakarating ka sa kanyang presensya na nung Old Testament ay associated with certain places and certain spots. At now there is a great opportunity, more ministry, because he has been to the mountain of the Lord. Simpleng kwento, pero maraming leksyon. Fast forward to today. Kumusta naman tayo? People could get very tired, just like Elijah. People could reach their breaking point. People could snap. Or people could reach their near breaking point. People could crack up. Pag sobra-sobra, sunod-sunod ang problema ng tao, walang pahinga, walang refreshment, walang restoration, pwede siyang malagot, yung tinatawag nating lumigwak. Lumuwag ang tornilyo, ang tawag ng iba, nasiraan, pwede mangyari yun. And people become psychiatric cases. Pag sobrang pressure na walang humpay, walang masulingan, walang maatrasan, pwedeng mag-crack ang tao. Yung nawawala sa sariling bait, nawawala ng katwiran, nagiging psychiatric case. Kaya mahalaga mga kapatid, kaya natin ito pinag-aaralan, makiramdam. Baka may mga taong malapit sa atin na malapit ng mabasag. May lamat na. Sobra-sobra na ang dala, malapit ng malagot. So understand when people are about to reach their load limit. Do not push people beyond their limits. Kung minsan, tiis ang asawa, yung pala malapit na siyang mapuno. Hindi mo alam, biglang napuno na. Merong pinagdidimla ng paningin, nakakapatay ng asawa, nakakapatay ng kapwa. Meron naman, naglalayas, nawawala na kasi napuno. You don't know when the proverbial camel's back will break. Yung kasabihan, it was the last straw that broke the camel's back. Kasi pasan ka ng pasan ng mga tali-tali, mga straw, ang dami-dami on the camel's back. Akala mo kayang-kaya pa niya. Nagdagdag ka na lang ng isang hibla ng straw. Nabalian na pala siya ng likod at natumba na siya. It was the straw that broke the camel's back, or it is the last drop that filled the bucket. Akala mo kayang-kaya mo pa siya pagalitan, i-neglect, pabayaan, yung pala isang patak na lang puno na. Kailangan ng tao nakakapagpahinga. Kailangan ng tao na may naaatrasan pag nagigipit at hindi laging sinisikil at hindi laging sinusukol. You don't always corner people. Because even animals, when cornered, fight back. Kaya bibigyan mo sila ng graceful way out. Hindi ko mo pwede mong hihiyain mo. Hindi ko mo pwedeng hawak na hawak mo ang alas, ikakaya-kayanin mo. Because people can fight back. People can snap. People could break down from physical, emotional, or spiritual fatigue. Kung ikaw ay asawa, ikaw ay anak, magulang, ikaw ay kasintahan, ikaw ay kasama sa trabaho, itanong mo rin, nakakapagod ba akong kasama? Pagod na ba sa akin ang aking asawa, ang aking magulang, ang aking anak? Kasi ang tao pag napagod, bumibigay. Kailangan hindi natin sila sobrang pinapagod. 1 Kings 19:7, the angel of the Lord came back a second time and touched him and said, "Get up and eat, for the journey is too much for you." What journey are you taking that could be too much for you? What journey could other people around us be taking that is too much for them? Pag ang tao'y may pinagdadaanan, huwag nyo nang dagdagan. Meron man kayong issue, meron kayong gustong ayusin, ipagpaliban na. Ang kailangan lang naman nun, pahinga. Ipagpaliban, for everything there is season and a time for every matter under heaven. Lahat may tamang panahon. Kaya dapat itinatama ang mga ginagawa natin. At pagka ang tao ay may pinoproblema, may dinadala, may pinagdaraanan, remember, people have load limits. Kahit eroplano may load limit, hindi siya pwede magdala ng higit sa disenyo na kaya niyang ilipad. Ang mga tulay may load limits. Ang mga kuryente, linya ng kuryente natin sa bahay, sa opisina, may load limit, hindi dapat lumampas. Lahat may load limit. People have load limits. And given even limits, God even gave limits to temptation so that a person could resist temptation. Maski ang pinapayagan ng Diyos sa tukso na dumadating sa ating buhay, may limit. 1 Corinthians 10:13, "No temptation has overtaken you except what is common to mankind. And God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear." So, tansyado din ng Panginoon ang pinapayagan niyang dumarating sa ating tukso. Kaya pag napayagan na dumating, ibig sabihin kaya mo. Kasi tasado, limitado, measured. Hindi tayo hahayaang matukso ng higit sa ating kayang tanggihan at lampasan. Lahat binibigyan ng Diyos ng limit. So we should respect limits. Huwag ipagtulakan, huwag sagarin ang sarili at huwag sagarin ang kapwa. When the journey is too much for people, be to them an angel of rest, refreshment, and recreation. Sa ating kwento, nakita natin yung anghel na naging daan para makakain, makainom, mapagpahinga. Ang propeta, sa buhay natin ngayon, we can be that angel. Tayo ang pwede magbigay sa ating kapwa ng kapahingahan, tulong, inumin, pagkain, anuman ang equivalent nun sa pangangailangan ng tao ngayon. Be a blessing. At mahalaga rin naman, tumanggap tayo ng ministrations from others. Kung tayo pagod na, let's share our burden with people. Huwag nating sarilinin. Huwag nating suluhin. Huwag tayong magtibay-tibayan, tapang-tapangan, tapos bigla na lang tayong maninigas at tutumba. Importante na nakakahinga ka, may nahihingahan, may nasasabihan, kasi masabi mo lang gumagaan na ang iyong dala kahit wala pang maipayo sa'yo. Mahalaga, pinapagaan natin ang laman ng ating dibdib. That's why it is important to have friends. Friends that you don't need to impress, but friends who could you be yourself with. nakakapagpagaan. Friends, divide our sorrow and multiply our joy. It is important to keep such friendships. So let people rest without pressure. Minsan merong taong nananahimik, tanong ka ng tanong, bakit? Anong problema mo? Pagka ayaw sabihin, huwag mong ipilit. Kasi kung minsan yung kapipilit mo, yun ang nagdagdag ng pressure. Ipapaalam mo lang na, baka gusto mo magkwento, baka gusto mo magsabi, nandito lang ako. Pero huwag tayong tanong ng tanong, lalo sa ayaw sumagot. Kasi kung talagang gusto niyang i-share at na ipahiwatig naman natin, na iparamdam na willing tayong makinig, pag ready na yon, mag-share yon. Mga magulang, huwag kayong lagi nagpipilit na mag-usisa, na magtanong. Irerespeto din natin yung privacy ng mga anak natin. Kung parang gusto nila munang tahimik, ayaw mo na nilang matanong. Basta alam nila na pag ready silang mag-share, ready silang magsalita, we are willing and ready to listen also. Kasi yung taong nape-pressure, lalong nadadagdagan ang hirap ng kanyang loob. Pwede tayong maging shock absorber. Maging atrasan ng tao kung wala na siyang masulingan, pwede siyang umatras. Kasi pipayagan mo siyang umatras sa'yo at pwede tayong maging pahingahan ng mga pagod. It is a special ministry. At kakambal niyan, siyempre, hindi ka dapat judgmental. Hindi ka easily shaken or shocked. Para ang tao maging lapat ang loob na magsabi sa atin kahit ang mga bagay na medyo shocking. Para maging lapat ang kanilang loob. Give yourself the space and the time to rest, to get revived, re-strengthened, refreshed, reoriented. Nakita niyo itong si Elijah, gusto nang mamatay, pero nung na-refresh, may bago na naman siyang mission. Naglakad pa siya ng 40 days. Pagiging si Jesus, ino-observe niya ang limits maging ng mga disciples. Nung pagod na yung mga disciples, kahit ang dami pang taong dapat paglingkuran, niyaya niyang lumayo muna, mapag-isa, at magpahinga. Mark 6:31, Then because so many people were coming and going that they did not even have a chance to eat, he said to them, Come with me by yourselves to a quiet place and get some rest. Si Jesus. Iniwan muna nila yung hindi maubos-ubos at matapos-tapos sa mga tao na hindi maubos-ubos ang demands. Sabi niya, magpahinga muna kayo. Hindi kayo nakakatulog, hindi kayo nakapagpahinga, hindi kayo nakakakain na maayos. Iwan muna natin sila. May ganun. Kailangan kung meron tayong mahal sa buhay na sobrang pressured, sobrang stressed, ilayo muna natin sila doon sa source of stress and pressure para sila ma-refresh. Even Jesus gave His disciples respite, retreat, and rest. Kaya ang central ministry ng Panginoong Jesus, very clearly, is to give rest. Kasi ang mga tao laging pagod. Pagod ang puso, pagod ang katawan, pagod ang isip. Matthew 11:28-30, If you are tired from carrying heavy burdens, come to me and I will give you rest. Take the yoke I give you, put it on your shoulders and learn from me. I am gentle and humble, and you will find rest. This yoke is easy to bear, and this burden is light. Alam niyo kung bakit nakakapagpahinga kahit ang mga makasalanan kay Jesus? Kasi pinapatawad niya. Hindi niya hinuhusgahan. Hindi niya sinisita. Minamahal niya, tinatanggap niya ng walang patakaran. Kaya yung mga tao sinasabi, nawawala yung mga demonyo kumukubabaw sa kanila pag napupunta sila kay Jesus. It's not always literal demonyos. Kundi yung mga hang-up, yung mga heavy feelings, yung mga burdens, na tuloy nagkaka-split personality na yung tao sa laki ng mga pressure sa buhay, nakakahinga sila, gumagaan ang buhay, nawawala yung mga sinasabing spirits na nagpo-possess sa kanila. Ganun lang naman mapapahinga ang tao kung tayo nagmi-minister sa kanila. Hindi natin inuhusgahan, hindi natin pinapressure, minamahal natin ang walang patakaran, tinatanggap, at kung kailangan patawarin, pinapatawad, dun lang naman talaga may pahinga. At yun ang ministry ni Jesus. John 6:35, Jesus replied, I am the bread that gives life. No one who comes to me will ever be hungry. No one who has faith in me will ever be thirsty. Si Elijah, nakainom, nakakain, nakapaglakad ng 40 days, pero no doubt, nagutom uli yon, napagod na naman yon, nauhaw na naman yon. Until Jesus. Jesus says, ako ang living water. Ako ang bread from heaven. When you eat me, when you drink me, you will never be thirsty again. And of course, it doesn't mean physical drink or physical food. But when you let the thought, the teachings, the Spirit of Jesus live in you, you will always be spiritually filled and you will never be so tired to the point that you would want to die, that you would like to give up, that you would be depressed. Kaya mahalaga ma-internalize, maunawa, maipamuhay natin ang mga katuruan ni Jesus dahil doon lang tayo mapapahinga. Inililigtas niya tayo sa sobrang guilt, sobrang feeling of inadequacy na nakukuha natin kung kay Moses at sa law tayo lagi nakikinig. Kaya nga, we now live by grace through faith in Jesus. Undeserved kindness because Jesus saved us not only from the power of sin, but also from the penalty of sin. Nakakapagpahinga ng Espiritu pag alam mong mahal ka at tinatanggap ka at kung nagkukulang ka at nagkakamali ka, mahal ka pa rin at pinapatawad ka pa rin at tatanggapin ka pa rin. Sinabi ni Pedro kay Jesus, ilang beses ko bang papatawarin ang aking kapwa, ang aking kapatid pa nagkakasala? 7 times ba? Sobra na yon kasi ang nire-require lang sa kanila 3 times. Dinoble niya, 6, dinagdagan pa na isa, 7. Iniisip ni Pedro, napaka-generous na niya. Sabi ni Lord, no, 70 times 7. Which is really symbolic, meaning, endlessly you forgive people. And it tells us how Jesus forgives us. Endlessly. And only when you know that you will be forgiven no matter what, that's the only time when you can rest. When you can stop performing and you can stop relying on performance. At napapahinga ka dahil mahal ka. Do a Jesus. Do as Jesus would. Give rest to people. Patawarin natin ang mga dapat patawarin. Tanggapin ang ating mga lalo na mahal sa buhay at pamilya. Mahalin tulad ng ginagawa ni Jesus sa atin. John 14:12, I tell you for certain that if you have faith in me, you will do the same things that I am doing. You will do even greater things now that I am going back to the Father. Sabi ni Jesus, mahal niyo ako, nananalig kayo sa akin, gawin niyo ang mga pinaggagawa ko. At ano yon? Magpatawad, magmahal, magbigay ng kapahingahan sa tao. When people are tired, give them rest. When people are threatened, give them protection and security. And when people are fearful, give them reasons to be at peace. That is the work of Jesus. And that is what He does to us, which means that is also what we should do to others. Help people and yourself to not overthink. Si Elijah kasi nag-overthink. Kaya gusto nang mamatay. 1 Kings 19:18, but 7,000 Israelites have refused to worship Baal and they will live. Yun ang sagot sa kanya ng Diyos. Sabi niya kasi wala na pong natirang maka-Diyos, ako na lang. At papatayin pa nila ako. Sabi na overthink ka. Ang bunga, fear. Sabi, meron pang 7,000 Israelites na hindi pa sumasamba kay Baal at sila'y patuloy na mabubuhay tulad mo. Don't exaggerate your fears. Huwag lagi magdrama. Kasi ang bunga nun, kalungkutan, depression, awa sa sarili, fear. When people are hungry, give them food. Thirsty, give them drink. And when people are isolated, solitary, give them company. Halos lahat ng nagsusuicide, dumarating sa point na feeling alone. And literally, really, alone. Kahit ilang minuto lang yon, o ilang oras, o ilang araw. Give the ministry of presence. Mga kapatid, yung ministry of presence, hindi mo kailangan magsalita, hindi mo kailangan maging wise, hindi mo kailangan manalangin, hindi mo kailangan may gawin. Nandun ka lang, at alam ng taong nandun ka, may kahati na agad siya sa kabigatan. The minimum ministry we can give is the ministry of our presence. Andun ka lang, even without having to utter a word. Sino ang nabibigatan sa dala? Sino ang malapit na magkalamat at mabasag? Tayo o mga taong malapit sa atin na kuminsan wala tayong kamalay-malay, malapit na palang mabasag. Do to others and do to yourself what the angel did. Be an angel of rest. Panginoong Diyos, turuan niyo kaming makiramdam. Turuan niyo kami maging sensitibo. Lalong-lalo sa mga taong nasa aming paligid na maaaring gipit na gipit, hirap na hirap, lunod na lunod. Teach us to be angels of rest. Makapag-minister kami sa kanila, perhaps with godly words, perhaps with godly prayer, or just with godly presence, even godly silence. But teach us to extend our hearts to people. Turuan niyo kami, Panginoon, na maging daluyan na yung pagpapala sa mga tao. Whether very grave yung kaso o pang-araw-araw na kasong kagipitan, turuan mo na kami makapagbigay ng pahinga sa kapwa. Huwag magdagdag sa kanilang mga hirap, lalo sa mga taong malapit sa amin. At kung meron dito sa aming kalagitnaan, na malapit ang mapuno, malapit ang malagot, Lord, let that person realize that you can send angels of rest, that you love each one of us, so that we will not refuse the ministrations of angels of rest. Kami man, Panginoon, kung inaabutan ng inumin, ng pagkain, pinatutulog, pinagpapahinga, be gracious recipients at tumanggap kami ng ministration ng iba, lalo sa mga panahong kami malapit ng bumigay. Teach us to be humble. Teach us, Lord, to share our situation with people. At kami naman maging ready, willing, and able